Welcome to The Code. Construction, design and engineering. This is India's #1 construction podcast.
Hi and welcome to The Code. I am Rishabh Aggarwal, your buildmate friend, and this is your favorite construction podcast. I have today with me Architect Akanksha Thapa, and she works with AROM. She is a TEDx speaker. She comes from the world of design, but she doesn't design. What does she do? Let's ask her herself. Hi Akansha, how are you?
Hi, I'm very well. How are you?
I'm absolutely fine. I know I cut short your intro very to the very brim of it. You want to add something to it first?
So, firstly, I think I'm an architect.
Yes.
I'm also a multidisciplinary designer. I am a homemaker also, which is also sort of cool thing to do.
It is, for sure.
I would like to say that I'm an architect who's not just making buildings, but maybe making it easier for people to make buildings, and I am making it easier for them to sell it. I think story narration is something that architects don't know or they don't do. It's same like building बनाने के बाद concept बनाएंगे. It's similar.
Yeah.
So I think that first narration of any project that comes to the studio, that happens through the team. I don't think that I am acing in it, but I'm definitely doing something better from all of them.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think briefly that's what I am like.
That works.
Yeah.
That's not too bad. So tell me, when did you do your architecture and where did you do it from?
So I'm a pass out of 2014. I did it from Gateway College of Architecture and Design. It's a very interesting story that I got my AIEEE. There was some counseling happening, and I got into Deen Bandhu Choturam. I went for the counseling and I got into there, and then I come from a background where I've studied from Shimla, where overcoats were still a thing. Overcoats are still a thing here now, but I have worn it since the beginning of my childhood, and it was the city for everyone. It is the summer capital. And my mother saw, I'm not trying to demotivate anyone, but my mother saw पंखे भी नहीं चल रहे हैं. It's a sarkari college. There's nothing wrong in it. And she saw there's absolutely nothing wrong in wearing a suit also, but she saw, and she's traumatized. She said that we sent you to a convent school, and I don't think you can survive this environment. Also, it was Haryana. Back then, it was still Haryana. So my mother said that let's try and explore another options. And then we looked at MBS also, Mind, Body, Soul in Delhi. By that time, SP and all had closed. And CCA, I was in the waiting list. And they said, no way it's going to clear up because the 40 kids they take, and you are on the 6th, it will not clear up until and unless you drop. My mother had a hard drop then again, 5 saal ki degree, and 1 year she wants to drop. It can't happen. Then someone told us that the dean from Deen Bandhu has shifted to Gateway College.
Okay.
That's Anil Kumar. And he had started that college, and someone told us that, okay, do not think. If he's there, just go. Okay.
You took a leap of faith.
Yeah. And we were the second batch of the college. But it's a fully air conditioned, fully tam jaham ekdam. But they were. But AC चल रहा था. But very strict college. So 9 o'clock, if you're not in the college gates, they lock the college gates.
Nice.
And you can't go back to the hostel because they also lock the hostel. And they switch off the electricity. So you don't have anywhere else to go. So you are either chilling on the stairs or you're scared to get late. So very strict college, I would say. They have made me today what I am. And I think deadlines, I thrive on deadlines today. It's a
big thing with architects in any case.
Yes.
Right? Deadlines are the of any sort of a project.
And they were very strict with all of it.
Yeah.
And they were like, okay, we were going to fail you. I was scared. I was scared to to flunk. My parents had, because I don't come from a background where there are architects. There are no interior designers.
Yeah.
They are army officers. They are officers. The girls are married to army officers.
Yeah.
I don't come from that kind of background.
Yeah.
So it was very new for me. And I was also scared that because my parents have taken that leap of faith in me, I have to, sort of prove myself. And I have to, when I knew that whenever convocation would happen, you would sit rank wise.
Yeah.
So I was also a very naughty child. So I never thought that I would sit in the first row, but I thought that, okay, it has to be one of the first.
Fair enough.
So yeah, life started from there. I joined the college there in 2014. I passed out. And when I did, I joined one of the very famous conservation architects. I joined her for 3 months. I joined her in August. And why I left her, because I had worked in landscape and I knew the gist of landscape. I knew that, okay, I like it, but I want to check out if I like maybe this also. But when I went to her office and it was so mundane, 5:30 everybody is going home, there was no thrill. एक जाली टूट गई है, उसकी जाली की copy. That's how conservation works.
Yeah.
There's nothing against it, but that's how it works. They're allowed to replicate it. They can't create their own. So it was very boring for me.
Yeah.
And it was not a nice environment. And I simultaneously, my thesis guide had said that, okay, there is an opening. They want a research architect. We had no clue what research architect. In 2014, there was not even a thing that there's something called research architecture or architect. So my thesis guide said that, why don't you do it, Akansha? You're good at it. Because I'd done my thesis with her and she said, okay, you're okay. I said, because nobody has taught us. We just know how to read. But
Yeah.
I think that's also courtesy. Being in the convent boarding school, you're forced to read while you go to bed. You have to read. Like, you have to take a book and you have to read, and then there is a recitation competition and conversations that has happened. So maybe that's why I liked reading. I was never a writer, but I liked reading. Then she said that, why don't you go sit for the interview? I went for the interview. There were 46 of architects. I never knew architects were interested in all those things.
Yeah.
And they selected one. And I don't know what. So I often asked my boss that, what did you see? She said that when you open the door, the peon opened the door. It happened at IGNCA, New Delhi. The peon opened the door and I said thank you to him. It's general. He opened the door and said, thank you. I will do it myself now. And then he gave me a glass of water and I said, thank you. And she said, that's the only thing I noticed about you. Everybody that walked in did not even have basic courtesies. And I think I have it because my father comes from a sarkari background. We come from services. And these things were very normal for us. To even say thank you to our house helps, whenever they're putting a glass of water.
Yeah.
So it was just very normal for me. It's just that she said, oh, I just saw that in you, and I really thought that you would fit perfect in this sarkari, because when you enter a sarkari organization, it was a semi-sarkari organization that was going to enter the sarkari organization. And that's when she said that that's the only thing, because everybody who's not a babu wants to be a babu.
Yeah.
And you should know how to treat that babu well. So when I gave the interview, it was for research architect. It was not told that it's for Rashtrapati Bhawan. We had no clue that it was for Rashtrapati Bhawan. It happened at IGNCA. We thought Razada IGNCA.
But there it was, the Rashtrapati Bhawan.
Yeah, they said, given your papers, we want to give police verification. We want to get a
Sure.
police verification. Then 3 months happened.
Okay.
Police verification happened. And then I joined them. I joined them for 2 months only. And they said, we'll see what to do with you. And I said, okay. Architects are very, we are very, very happy slogging ourselves as compared to
Yeah,
others.
I've seen this
Yeah.
across the days.
Yeah.
Like I've seen this with every architect that I've met.
Yeah, we're very happy. So
Yeah.
if they're giving me work, I'm doing it in a day and they're like surprised, oh my God. And Sarkari offices don't work like that at all.
Yeah, fair enough.
I'm also fixing their printers. So I was the youngest one there and fixing printers and they're like, oh my God, what is she doing? She can do all this also. And they're like, let's keep her. So I was like a little monkey they had that. Okay, I was very young.
Yeah.
And
Now fit the monkey here. Fit the
Yeah,
monkey there.
yeah,
I
yeah.
think it suits there.
yeah.
This is, can she do this?
Yes. I think that's worked with me very well.
Yeah.
I have never said no for anything in life.
What all did you do there?
So they said that, okay, you have to do drawings, you have to do research on the drawings, and then you may have to redraft the drawings
Okay.
of the Latin plans that went to the books, because CPWD archives are really bad. I don't even know why I'm supposed to say this, but
That's fair.
they're
What is there?
really bad.
Yeah.
Like original Latin's plans, if you go to Reba and you want to buy it, you have to pay 12,000 rupees. But simultaneously, if you have to buy it from CPWD, it's 35 rupees. 35 rupees
Yeah.
and 35 copy letters. I don't know what they're doing. There are so many archives here, National Archives. You need a lot of letters, but since we were doing it for Rashtrapati Bhawan, going through our way was not difficult for us.
Okay.
We always we called them and we said we're calling from Rashtrapati Bhawan. Everybody would cooperate, but they were really in bad conditions, and we had to draft them again. We had to research on them. Like it was so
What kind of a research and what kind of a documenting or like
so
book
I
formations?
was in first book I did was The Work of Beauty, which was I did the Retreats of India, and which was about the 2 retreats of the Rashtrapati Bhawan at Shimla, and there's one in Hyderabad.
Okay.
It's called the Rashtrapati Nilayam and retreats in Shimla. They have never been documented. And they were never documented. I remember I opened one of the stores and we could find old clocks and crockeries and blue china clay that used to come from Pakistan, and then they used to use it. So all abandoned. They had no documentation on what had come from where.
Wow.
So to identify that, okay, this is a blue clay pot and it came from somewhere from Pakistan.
Yeah.
It was to identify that, oh, this is an antique, and then to identify that, okay, this is the person who could tell us more about it. That process, I think that is what we did in the beginning. Then they wanted to write a lot about the architecture, not about the building, not like how many rooms it had and why it had, and why it had a basement and why it was looking at an orchard and these things. So they wanted to look at it in that way. Rashtrapati Nilayam was not in a very good condition as the retreat was in Mashobra, because it's very famous for the Gandhis also. They really liked that we have a very famous picture of Rajiv Gandhi sitting and Rahul Gandhi sitting, and a little cub sitting with them. They have a very famous picture of that, and it's at the retreats ka garden.
Okay.
So they used to spend a lot of time there. Yeah.
That's why it was well maintained.
Yeah.
Taken care
That's
of.
right.
Sort of a thing.
But simultaneously, the Hyderabad one was Neel Kamal ki chairs. It was really bad.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
One part was shot. Now they've started everything again. So, but that time, that was also the condition.
Yeah.
It was huge, like gardens were not maintained. This one, gardens are maintained. There are proper people allotted. There is a JE who's just for this house.
Nice.
So, yeah, that sort of documentation happened there. And then it got completed, published, and then I moved to the work of beauty, which was the Rashtrapati Bhawan. So we did a lot of architecture. Narayani wrote the book, and there were a lot of architects, Abha Narayan Namba, they were involved in it to do chapters in it.
So everybody took up a facet of the Rashtrapati Bhawan and basically wrote about it. And
so how a carpet was designed with the flooring kept in mind, and how the flooring came to existence. All there. There's a records room in Rashtrapati Bhawan where everything is there.
nice.
So how even the taps of the faucets and the taps were also designed by Lutyens. It was so much controlled by him. Which flower to where he wanted to plant what tree, like the backside the Mughal garden, they're all fruit trees because they wanted to look at the fruit trees only, citrus fruit trees.
Would you say it's correct to say that it's been maintained like that for the years that it stood?
Yes.
Exactly how it was built?
Exactly how it was. Earlier, it's, exactly how it is. Even the cutlery and all, everything, exactly. And it is one of the most expensive houses in the...
Of course.
And it has been maintained in that way.
Very nice.
The generations, the Malis are generations of Malis. There's no change because they live in the estate and one retires and the son joins. And because they're living at the estate, they don't want to leave it. They're like, we're living in the central of why would we leave?
Yeah.
So it has been, 3.5 years I spent there. And
the imperial rule did give us that culture though, right?
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
We sort of inherited that from the British.
Of course.
Right?
And I think
the generational artisans, the generational Malis, even the, I'm
cooks.
sure, cooks. It's just, it's a very British way of actually sort of holding things. And the president is the it guy, right? Which you don't get any bigger than that. I'm sure there are no stones unturned for him, right? Great. It's actually fun to sort of hear these stories. How many books do you think they were written?
11 of them.
11 books, and which covered majorly the Rashtrapati Bhawan and everything around it?
There was a book called The Horses of Rashtrapati Bhawan.
Horses of
Rashtrapati? Do you know they have to be a certain height.
Yeah.
If the Sarkari horses have their tail tied up, they can't be like lingering around.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
But if it's a president's horse, it can do that.
Wow.
Can you imagine here tied and here not tied?
I think it's hard for me to do that, but I get the idea. Wow. Okay. Basic, very unique nuances, should I say? Yeah? Very, very interesting proclivities.
So the president's bodyguard is another sort of army that lives at the estate.
Yeah, the president's guard.
PBG. So the first book was in PBG, and it glorified that how retreat happens every 5 o'clock, at 5 o'clock every day. And how it is a tradition going on for so long, and it has never been taken. Retreat, people come to see it.
Yeah.
There are tickets that you buy, but one thing Pranab Mukherjee did, he said that, 23 years I have been around this building, but I never knew what is happening inside the building. So this was his pet project to say that, I want the people to know about this building.
Very nice.
And he said people should know that if there was furniture and interiors also, Naman wrote that book. And so he said that, there was also a cookbook in which there was kitchens of Rashtrapati Bhawan.
Wow.
In which they told that, how this dish came here and why is it Rashtrapati Bhavan ka tradition.
Nice.
And
were you witness to any sort of dignitaries who used to visit him, and then you guys got that?
So the Mr. Modi did all the books release happened with him.
Right. They're available up for grabs if you want to buy them.
Yeah, it's on Amazon. All of them are there.
Nice.
And I have, so there were a lot of movements, but I have not encountered them. But I have had the pleasure of having tea with the president.
Very nice.
So when it finished, then we were invited for the tea with the president, and we had tea with him. Imagine I was 25-year-old that time. At homes happen at the retreats, and the Mashobra ones also, and the Nilayam also, where all the famous dignitaries, the CMs and all, their governors are called. And I think my father had a win when he got an invite for that one of the retreats, and he was very happy about it, that okay, only the top level bureaucrats or the politicians get it, but we got it. And it was also, for him, it was, I think my parents were very happy about it. I have attended a lot, almost all of the at home, they call it after 15th August, I think it happens. I'm forgetting. It happens twice in a year.
Okay.
So whenever he goes there, that time it happens only. But in Delhi one, it happens. Yeah, but...
So storytelling ka jo seed tha, it got planted
there.
At the Rashtrapati Bhawan.
Yes.
Interesting. And now you've sort of grabbed onto that.
So I feel that, so when 3.5 years later there, so it's very interesting that the president's staff changes.
Okay.
The moment president changes.
Yeah. Every new president gets his own
changes.
team, right?
Yeah.
I think it's a safety thing as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Or confidentiality.
Yeah. Oh, pick my favorites.
Oh, that's also possible.
Yeah.
Everybody has their own tastes.
Yeah. Definitely. Because all the bureaucrats are then handpicked. They are all handpicked there. So when I left it because I was bored. It was a very nice 10 to 5 job. Very comfortable Saturday, Sunday chutti, Christmas chutti for 15 days. It's happening. It was very comfortable. I did not like comfortable. And they had said that there's a museum at the Rashtrapati Bhawan. They said, why don't you come and join the museum team? I said, but all old people, I'll get bored. I don't know what to do. So I said, no, I want to go out now. Now
You'll
enough.
feel archaic.
And my dearest friend, Phantom, he said, listen, you need to join an architectural firm now.
Yeah.
Why are you doing this to yourself? You've done 5 years of architecture. Why do you not want to practice? And he said that he spoke to Saurabh, and I had no portfolio. For an architect to say that, I've just made my portfolio. For an architect to say that I don't have a portfolio, I have a CV, please have a look. And Phantom called them and they said that please come for the interview. I was looking at publishing houses. I was looking at Niyogis. I was looking at big publishing.
But not an architectural firm.
Not an architectural firm, because that time I don't think that even I had no clue what I will do at an architectural firm.
Yeah.
They had no clue, but I met Saurabh, I met Mridu, I met the HR, and the interview went for 2.5 hours. And I think Saurabh, and only Saurabh, has that kind of courage to take that leap of faith to say, okay, let's hire. I was an expensive resource that time also. Yeah. And they said that, okay, let's hire, we'll see what to do. Let's make books. But we'll see what we'll do. We don't know. I was hired. People used to ask me, what will you do here? I said, I have no clue. They've hired me. I don't know what to do.
He saw something.
So then I think it transcended from a lot of things. So I now realize that getting a photo shoot done of an architectural building or an interior, it's not everyone's cup of tea.
Yeah.
But I had learned it at Rashtrapati Bhawan. We were doing photography for the President House with Phantom and Ram Rahman. Very good photographers. We were doing it with them. So I knew I was assisting. I had no pain in saying that, okay, I will not carry your tripod. I will. What is the problem?
Fair enough.
So I never, or hold the light. I've done all of that.
And it's a fun process. Like, you kind of enjoy it when you're doing that.
So imagine I'm around the president wearing full sari and all. You can't walk with the shoe that make noise around the president.
Sure.
Because it's one of the protocol. You can't wear jeans and all. It's one of the protocol. You have to be in the sari or Indian wear. It's one of the protocols. So I'm holding light. light देना president साहब की तरफ light somewhere holding. I'm like okay I'll do it. So I think Phantom also liked that about me. I never threw tantrums. He used to say come at 3 a.m. in the morning because morning shoots are supposed to. He's mad. He likes doing all of it, and he would say that okay come at 3 a.m. I was like okay, in Shimla there's snow and 3 a.m. I'm also sitting with them. Okay, let's take the perfect shot of sun rising, falling it on the building. Let's do it. Okay, I think I never.
He's mad. That's why he's good.
Yeah, he's oh my god.
Yeah.
So I think that nag towards photography.
Sorry, but that's kind of why we are doing this on a Sunday at 9 a.m. We're all mad.
So I think that he taught me. I had learned a lot of things. I'd worked with him for 3.5 years, and I picked on if he had. I also felt bad so many times when he used to yell at me, and I was like, I hate you.
It's a part of learning, right? Isn't it?
Yeah, but then when I came to AROM, I realized that this is not. People can't do it. It's not everybody's cup of tea.
Most people don't get it. Most people don't understand it.
Yeah.
And they don't have a grasp of how it's supposed to be depicted to the world as well.
Yeah.
We have our own ideas and we don't know how to express them sometimes. I keep saying this and often I say this, in fact, that a lot of people have ideas.
Yeah.
Some of them have good ideas.
Yeah.
Few of them have great ideas. But it doesn't matter unless you learn how to communicate those ideas in a proper way.
That's
right?
what.
The ideas that will be communicated properly are the ones that will be taken up.
Yeah.
आप किसी भी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में हो, आप रेगुलर लाइफ में हो, अपनी फैमिली के साथ कुछ डिस्कस करना है, एंड यू बेसिकली डिस्कस अ प्लान इन द फ्यूचर कि ये करना है, बट इफ यू डोंट कम्युनिकेट दैट इफेक्टिवली इट वोंट वर्क. एंड आई थिंक दैट इज एग्जैक्टली व्हाट यू आर डूइंग राइट नाउ, isn't it? In terms of the storytelling for a building.
Yeah.
And I get it that it's a part of marketing and you're selling it, because real estate is good when it's sold to something, isn't it?
Yeah.
It turns into a purpose, and of course commercial as well. So I think it was a great initial incubation sort of thing that you had, right, at the Rashtrapati Bhawan.
And it also made me, I feel that it also made me a person that, because they were old people and they used to say, oh, she can do everything. You tell her to do, she will do. You ask her to find an image, she can. I was good at Googling. But then I realized people can't Google also. They're bad at Googling also. If you do Pinterest also, it takes a little knack to do good Pinterest also. To do good Google also, it takes a little bit of your, like for example, people say that okay, chat GPT use कर रहे हैं सब, उसको अच्छे से use करना, it's not everybody's cup of tea.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it is a tool, but to use it in a very smart way, it is also your mind that is making it use in a very smarter way.
Yeah.
So then I realized that okay, let's do shoots for AROM, and I started doing that. And suddenly we have a sister company called the Design Village.
Okay.
It's a design school, and that time it was 5-6 years old, and they were shifting to another building. It was an old katha factory that was to be turned into a college, which is right adjacent to the
Brilliant. Great smells. Awesome.
So met all mad people, Saurabh, Phantom, all mad people I've met. And then there were 51 days in which we had to shift, like kids have to come. There were buildings, there were so many machineries in that old building, and there was no light because katha kharab ho jata hai, light aati hai, there's no natural light in there. We had to make punctures, but all in 51 days. So I was this was my honeymoon time at AROM, and they said that okay, let's just test her.
Yeah.
Let's just try and test her here. And I started working with the interior team there, and my job was just to project manage. It was just to get the damn thing working.
Yeah.
I never sat on the AutoCAD, but दीवार आज यही बनेगी और आज ही बनेगी. That was my sort of
the task assigned to you.
Yeah, that was sort of a job that I had.
Yeah. The most hated job, by the way, on that floor was given to you.
Yeah, and everybody anyhow hated me.
Sure.
The new girl in the office. Everybody were
who doesn't design.
Who doesn't design? Architect who doesn't make buildings. So I don't know why she's been hired. At that time there was a snack that why is she being paid also? Why should she get paid? And a little more than you, so it is a problem.
Yeah.
But so like anyway, people hate you, so it's okay. So it's okay, you just do
Let's
it.
own it.
Yeah. But my God, it was done in 51 days. I used to go home for a shower and come back again. And I did my best. I think I did my best because it was the first time I was seeing a building that was getting built in front of me. We were doing interiors only majorly, but it was getting built in front of me. And there were so many things that I'd learned during that process. And I think Saurabh and Mridu also had, by that time, seen that, okay, she's fully ARCOM DNA,
you
get
passed
the
the
job
test.
then.
Yeah.
Then we started a travel thing, which was called the Detours India.
Okay.
It was for architects and designers. ARCOM does this. They go on ARCO tour every year, which is an extensive 10 days travel, 100 buildings. You're waking up at 6 o'clock, you're watching buildings 9 o'clock, 10 buildings in a day. It's mad.
Nice.
It's on your toes. And since we were doing it, they said, well, let's make it a little commercial and let's try and earn money.
Okay.
We didn't. We didn't earn money, but we did 11, 12 detours, 11 of them. Yeah. And then COVID hit us and we had to stop. Now what do they do with me? There's now again, what next now? Then
इस लड़की का क्या करें जो डिजाइन नहीं करती?
हाँ, अब क्या करें इसके साथ? There was a very interesting project which was sort of research. It was the iconic sites development. 4 iconic sites we got, which we were doing with HKS. And it required master planning, but a lot of research before planning. It was just an integrated master plan. We never had to design nahi karna tha. We had to tell them solutions on papers of what you can do.
Yeah.
So it was a very small. It was supposed to be a 14-day project. We just got a completion letter last to last month, I think. And we were doing it with HKS. I was good with people. I'm good with people, communication. If you're getting value on the table, I'm good with them. So Saru said, yeah, isko chalo yahan dal dete hain. Let's just put her there. And suddenly I was doing master planning. But
thrown in the deep waters.
Yeah, and then okay, now you will swim, I know you will swim. It's that. With Saurabh, it's like that. Oh, tum to kar loge. I think the best part about Saurabh is he will never underestimate you. And I've known architects who have underestimated their colleagues, saying that tumhe nahi pata, mujhe pata hai.
Does that come in from a place of insecurity, do you think, sometimes?
Yes, of course. Yeah. And Saurabh is never insecure.
Yeah.
He's if an intern at a table is sitting with him, he will listen to the intern also if there is a value, and he would never say that tumhe nahi pata, mujhe pata hai. He's just turned 49 and he's seen a practice of 25 years. Of course he knows better than us, but he will never put it out loud. I think it is never arrogance with him. I think that's what brings him out. I know a lot of architects that are not arrogant. That's not a problem, but I feel that the feel that he listens and the out of the box, he's not just saying, he's doing it. He's doing it, and that value that he gets on the table is something. So everybody working at ARCOM, it's just for that madness that Saurabh gets on the table.
World's best boss वाला mug दिया आपने उनको अभी तक नहीं?
He's not the best. He's not the best. But he's good. He's good and we can live with it.
I hope he listens to this. It's going to be fun.
So, yeah. Then I did the master planning, and I used to go. So because I was working with HKS and nobody could work with HKS, and it was a mess with us also that it's 30-70 ऐसा कुछ percentage था, and ये तुम ये करोगे हम ये करेंगे, यही चलता रहा. I said okay, let's come to a common ground, let's just try and finish it. And I think we had some meetings which went on. By the end of it, HKS also people left. Now with last leg with the PMO was me only giving that presentation at the PMO, only me standing there. But it happened. And while this was happening, COVID had also hit us. Usse pehle, the design school needed someone at the outreach, sales and marketing, and they said, why don't you try this, Akansha?
तुम तो कर ही लोगी.
I said, okay, sure. But I couldn't do it. 1 year, maybe it was COVID. We did not hit the numbers that we were supposed to hit. And I hated every bit of it. I did not like selling it. We sell things in architecture in a very nicer way than how design education works. And I did not like it.
Okay.
I did not like the people that we were having conversations with, or the kind of conversations we were having. I was suddenly a counselor telling people of why तुम्हें design करना चाहिए.
Oh.
So I did not like it. So I was also good at that also. Because people were like, okay, there's someone telling us something, but there was no boundaries, I've thought.
Yeah.
And I thought, I told them that I was also to be, while I was at TDB, I got engaged, and I was also to be got married, and they said, okay. I said, okay, I want to leave now. Bas ho gaya mera. Ab now I want to wear silk sarees, and I want to be a Fauji wife now.
Oh, nice.
And then Mridu said that you can't do this. You will not be able to survive it. Why don't you do it for 1 week?
1 week?
1 week in a month.
Okay.
No, it was 1 day in a week, so 4 days in a month, and it was also work from home. कि तुम चलो तुम्हें थोड़ा सा पैसे हम दे देंगे, and you just let it be.
कुछ करते रहो.
कुछ तो करते रहो.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, it's not bad. Let's just do it.
Yeah, not a bad deal.
So I said, okay, let's do it. And I was again taking care of the communications, publication. We do a Accometer monthly website. We did an app. I never knew I could do all of this. I never knew website कैसे बनाते. I said मुझे नहीं आता बनाना. So I was like, yeah, we'll hire people too. पर तुम्हें सीखना है उससे website बनाना. Next website हम खुद से बना लेंगे. Which happened also. Next website खुद से बना ली. हमने सीख लिया उनसे full जितना social media, digital marketing. We hired people. We learned from them.
Yeah.
तुम खून पी के उनका सीख लिया उनसे 6-7 महीने और उसके बाद it's not a good standard practice, but what do you do when you don't have that kind of funds? Architecture practices don't have
It's
funds.
not just that. Sometimes होता क्या है कि हमें एक certain type of design चाहिए, हमें एक certain type of website की quality चाहिए, and the other person we know is not delivering. सबसे बड़ा problem आज website development के साथ यही है.
हम उन्हें बोलेंगे हमें full scape image चाहिए, they will say नहीं यहाँ पे border, अरे नहीं हमें जो चाहिए वो चाहिए.
Exactly.
It's very funny. It's similar like doing a house. Interior designers might also face this, that हमें तो ये white wall ही चाहिए, but interior designers need something else. But really, no, we want this only. Then चलो तुम खुद कर लो. That way.
वो creative freedom थोड़ा सा.
हाँ.
Yeah.
So architects are very. I feel that we are very control freak. हमें बहुत वो होता है कि अभी हमें इसको control करना है. That's when I was at home and I was doing this, and that's when my husband got posted somewhere and I had to come back to Delhi, and they said, why don't you join full time? I said, okay, chalo, let's do this also. I joined full time, and then I was full-fledged taking care of the communication, branding, part of branding of AROM sort of thing. And then we realized कि हमारे जब हम टेंडर भरते हैं तो हमारे अप्रोच एंड मेथोलॉजी में नंबर बहुत कम आ रहे हैं.
Okay.
There is a document that you have to give with the design, which is called the approach and methodology of the project. Every time you fill a tender. We realized कि यार ये तो बहुत कम नंबर आ रहे हैं, अब इसको कैसे सॉल्व करें, चलो या आकांक्षा को दे देते हैं. So every project now we do, every documentation that happened, either it's a book or it's in design ideation, that happens with the design team, but my team does the final product and gives it to them so they can focus on the design. That's about it, and the rest of the things we could do. So if design is for 20 marks, approach and methodology is for 10 marks, which is like basic everywhere.
Okay.
So then we started doing all this approach, then we looked at some other documents of other firms that were doing it and scoring good marks, 9 marks. Kaise aa rahe hain, inke pata karao. So we had documents and we had studied them. I'd studied them and I was like, okay, we can do this.
Yeah. What was lacking?
Yeah, this is lacking and we can fill the gap here.
Yeah.
And that's how I think we took that curve towards architecture also slowly and steadily, and that's how story, narration and branding happened. And that since then I think I've really enjoyed looking at architecture in a very different way than what architects might look at. And I think that thought process that has come in me, or the DNA that has come in me, it's because of my travels. Of course, I've traveled the Arco tours I've done every year. I've traveled with Saurabh, and there used to be times when we used to do dinners and then discuss buildings. And since I'm not designing them, but I know how to discuss buildings, and because I know how to discuss buildings, I know how to narrate a building. So I think all of that came through my travels and time at AROM and design discussions at AROM. That happened gradually and slowly, and it just came and it just sat right. It just sort of felt right for all of us. And but now when I'm doing this, I also feel, what next now? You have to constantly, I'm also constantly in my race with myself that, okay, what next? You have to add something to your portfolio every year. Because in this generation that we're living in, if we're doing one thing, that's not enough. I feel it's not enough. You have to be, it's jack of all trades and master of none, but I want to be a joker. I want to fit in wherever I can, and I want to change the game. I want to be that joker. And I thought that, okay, let's just do this also. And then we were invited at the Bikaner house to do an exhibition for AROM, and we did AROM exhibition. And that's another, oh my God, I love exhibition design. I think I really like it. Then we did Bikaner, then we were invited in Sept. And I think the quality of Sept versus Bikaner, I am so proud about that exhibition. People asked us techniques of how you did this exhibition. People are, I would not say copying us, but getting inspired by us. And I know, I've seen that. They might not give us credit, but I've seen same things happening. So that's where I realized that, okay, this is also something that I liked. And then we sort of moved to branding for the clients.
Yeah.
So if we're doing a corporate interior of a corporate building or an office, we would also say that, okay, but we can do a branding. We can also put the last set of sort of jokes about it and say, Akansha will put on the lipstick. And if you put on the lipstick, the woman would look really nice. And it's similar with interiors. If you do branding, if you do graphics very nicely, it pumps up the space suddenly with very minute things.
Yeah.
And we did JCBL in Chandigarh, and Saurav was really happy with it, and he said that, okay, let's start doing it. And we started taking projects that were with us, and we started doing it. And I think I have also enjoyed it a little more than I was supposed to. I think I really like doing that also, brand narration and brand building for other people. We were doing it for us, now we have started doing it for clients.
But when you say brand narration and brand building for other people, it's in terms of intertwined with the architecture of that building?
Yes.
Okay,
With
so the brand identity and the
Yes.
building design
Yes.
put together and
Yes.
then narrated in a...
Yes.
Very nice.
Yes.
That's-
So we're doing a house in Chandigarh. We've done we've done the architecture.
Mhm.
We're doing the interior. With the interior, we want to put that. How do we put the brand into the? It's a small house, but how do we make a visual identity for this house? Also, we did an entire workshop for 3 hours on how this house has to be. Like, if you look at any of the when we travel to Europe, and nameplates have monograms and they have logos, and it's so small, such a small thing,
Yeah.
but it's such a nice thing to see. And why can't we do it? We
That's
are not
also-
doing it here.
That's also creating that individuality of that entire place.
Yeah. So visual identity to everything, from a letter pad to a Diwali gift that is going from my client's side to someone. We want to control it. It's not they cannot think all of this. We are telling them, like, okay, you can do this and we can do this. If you have a birdhouse, we can design a birdhouse for you. We want to design a birdhouse. It should have a narration to the building and the birdhouse. It can't be randomly standing there.
But I think it adds value to that person also, sort of taking that project and, giving it to you guys and sort of creating that brand image for himself or herself as well, right?
Yeah.
It's definitely a good value add
Yes.
for them as well.
Yes.
Interesting. I have actually never thought about architecture being, conjoined with something like this, because I don't know who said it, and I don't even know if I'm quoting it right, but it said that storytellers rule the world, right? I think somebody famous said that. We'll have to look that up. Probably punch that quote in within this video. I don't have any questions for you because I'm frankly astounded by the uniqueness of this profession that you have. Architect आप हो, but आप कहानी कारक हो, right?
So, like, I always put it in this way that, I can any day go back to AutoCAD.
Yeah.
But this is what I have. This is not everybody's cup of tea. And earlier I used to think that, kya kar rahi hu? I can't define my job profile. What is this I'm doing? My husband never knew what I'm doing. Building nahi bana rahe ho, to kya kar rahe ho? Kaise architect ho? But I think that it's perfectly fine to not know it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's perfectly fine. That's what I feel, that kuch nahi hai.
And some stories tell themselves, right?
Yeah,
Eventually.
of course. That's what I've come to terms with it. But I'm always hungry. I also had the internship program at this studio, which says that only architects can, even the hiring right now, HR doesn't know. If an HR is not an architect, how is he looking at a portfolio? Or how does he know that what is the proficiency of the person that he or she is hiring? On what basis are they hiring?
How does somebody who's done architecture become an HR, man? Like, it's another challenge,
That's all. So interns ke saath we have very set sort of rules. Portfolio needs to be like this. It has to be. If it has graphical intent, it's very good for us. It needs to be that sort of. We have around 600 portfolios every 6 months with us, and out of that I take out 12 or 14, and because that's what the strength is with me right now. So we sort of understood that, okay, the principal associates that we have don't have time. They're either doing design or they are doing something else, or they don't have time, and by that time HR say they go to portfolio selection say they come back. That circle is 15 days. By that time the kid has joined somewhere else. So to cut that short was, okay, I do the screening myself, I do the interview myself, and then I put that person in the right team, and I feel that my colleagues can vouch for it, I think, that it's fitting so beautifully because I know the colleague of mine. I know what he or she wants from the person that is coming in. And the person whom I'm interviewing, I know what that person is also looking for.
Yeah.
For example, they want to do large-scale museums. They want to do that kind of project. We will put them into that sort of... They want to do live projects. Okay, we will put them in that sort of line. Teams. I think it is working out very well for us because I feel that architects are being shortlisted by HRs who do not know architecture.
They don't understand the...
I don't understand it. Like day before yesterday, I was having a conversation with someone and they said, Home Lane is suddenly moving to this concept of having HRs and trainers who are architects.
Yeah.
They don't want to hire MBAs now and they want to hire architects because they could speak and understand them better.
Yeah.
So I was also very surprised that, oh my God, it's something now. I think it's going to be a thing. Like architectural PR was never a thing.
Yeah.
जब मैं PR करती था, I'm like, PR तो कोई भी कर सकता है. No. कोई भी नहीं कर सकता है. That's when I realized नहीं यार, सब नहीं कर सकते हैं. But I do PR for the social media, the digital marketing, PR. Everything is handled by me. But it's like a side thing. I can't be like doing it only full day. I'm sitting on the PR. I'm talking to people. No, I can't. Tier 1 magazines know us. They know me. They know what sort of things we do. And we are happy with it. We don't want to be published every now and then. We don't want to. We want to be published in Tier 1 magazines, even if it's 6 times in a year. But we are very content with all of that. And I think that's the beauty of Saurabh. He doesn't want too much.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Thank you, Akansha,
Thank
for your
you
time
very
today.
much.
I think it was a fun storytelling session.
Yes.
We went through time with you in a way in the last 10 years in your journey. This was Akansha Thapa and she's from AROM. If you have any questions, write to me at India's #1 Construction Podcast @gmail.com. You can follow me on Instagram at India's #1 Construction Podcast and you can message me there. Thank you for tuning in. Have a great day.